What are we at? Very good. We shall slap. Oh. Oh. Blech. Blech. Apparently receiver got really dirty sitting where I left it sitting. Oh well, she'll be right. Just send it. There we go. Give it a dust out, she'll be right. When you're taking these apart and when you're putting them together, do this first, or apart, do it last. Put it together, do it first. Because when you do it last and first, it goes in without marring anything else up. Alright? Really fucking simple. I don't know why people muck that up so bad all the time. It's just mind-boggling some days. What I will do before capping that off is I'll just put a little bit of grease on this pinion gear. Probably doesn't need it because it's on the bevel gear, but you know, she'd be right. I could test these motors, but with my test wires to see what they're doing, but honestly it's not fucking worth it because it's just 2 seconds to take it out of the grip anyway. No, we're not going to put any of that grease back in there. Actually clean this brush and put it in the drawer. La 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 la. You can bend these wires a little bit before starting. They sit roughly like that. You can do it after. G&Gs are quite forgiving. I like Perun wiring. It's just really nice, but it doesn't hold its shape. If you could get Perun's wires to like how they are, but to roughly hold their shape, oh man, then those would be like the go-to, those wires there. But otherwise, they're pretty fucking good otherwise. But I think I prefer G&G's wiring just for the sakes of how they hold themselves. They stay relatively still once you put them in. Your second favourite wiring is definitely the Perun wires. They're just nice. Alright, grip screws in. Snug down the screws. Don't tighten them like a maniac and strip them out, because that would be a really bad day. I can almost test fire this thing. Although if I'm going to do that, I have to go inside and get me fucking batteries, because Dummy left them all inside. Dummy, dummy, dummy. Drop our motor in there, mate. Make sure the wires aren't binding up the top, which they are now not binding up the top. That's good, that's good. Black wire on first. Red wire over top of black wire. And onto that one. You know, make sure that they're not binding. If you've got any weird binding going on when you're putting your motor in, it should go in, no problem at all. Just all the way in, all the way out, free floating. If you have some problems with it binding, it could be that the wires up above the motor where you route it around have, that's not the right one, have moved from where you placed them, and it's just getting in the road or moving the spring on the tower or something silly. Worst case scenario, you tear open your wire, you know. Yeah. A couple of our guns. I think I know who, you silly bugger, if you ever decide to watch this. They routed one wire up here and then put the wire back and forth and then onto the terminal. It was really bad because it kinked the motors over and absolutely destroy those oiler bushings, G&G oiler bushings on those bevels, and they sound horrible and they're just so slow to cycle. It was just a bad one. I'm pretty sure I know who did that. I haven't seen him since, but I'm gonna hit him up when I see him. He's alright. Silly bugger. Don't forget this one, because this one will be like, dumb fella, you know. Plug in the wires. I do like G&G's buffer tube stuff, but it is a pain that you can't fit a regular size Dean's through that hole without the plugs here. A lot of their heat shrink, the outer one is like not that shrunk, so I like to give them just an extra bit of shrink just to help seal them up against each other. And this fella, there's not a lot of Loctite that I put here, but this next screw is definitely one that is getting Loctited. Yeah, give you that a bit of a shake, mate. Alright. Whoop. Alright, we'll spread that out. It's probably a bit too much. You really don't need a lot of Loctite. You really don't need a lot of Loctite. You can lather it on if you like. Just, you know, makes it harder to pull apart. This blue stuff is pretty nice. I like the blue stuff. Nice medium strength. The amount of buffer tubes that just come loose for just the sakes of like a tiny bit of Loctite on this screw. But don't go and use the red stuff or the green stuff or anything like that. Use the mid-strength. What is this? Oh, there we go. I was going to say, why does it not want to start? If you use anything higher, you're just going to fuck yourself over because it just locks itself on there so tight that when it comes time to service it, you won't be able to get it apart. That one can be a little bit tighter than most other screws, but again, don't be a maniac, you know. This is at the point now where I could test fire it. I'm going to put this bugger back on for now. Oh, I've got to go inside to get me batteries. I have to go inside to get me batteries. That's lovely bloody batteries. Every single one of these that I've been doing, this screw is loose. I put a tiny amount of Loctite onto this screw because I want to be able to get it out again, but I don't want it to come undone. Like, I'm just putting like a dot on there. Just the tiniest, littlest bit. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's just the tiniest little dotty dot. There it is. If you ever want to be able to undo this, it's got like the tiniest little head on the screw. What is it? It's a fucking 1.5 mil Allen. I don't want them coming off and having to try and source bloody mag catches. You know, and you really don't need a lot of tension to hold that on. But, you know, I also want to be able to take it off again one day. Righty ho, I need to go get a battery. Hey, got my battery. Now we're going to see if it works or blows up or anything silly. What's it going to do? Oh, it works! Oh, that motor height does not sound the best. That's okay, we shall quickly adjust the motor height. Alright, motor height has been adjusted. Yeah, it doesn't sound the best. It's just, some of these sound really good, and some of them sound okay. This is just an okay one. But you know, it's not that loud. They don't come across on phones anyway, like, you know, they just don't come across nicely on phones, but look at this. That's pretty quick for a standard, completely standard bloody system right there. And that's the first time I've run this thing with those contacts with actual power. They feel amazing. They feel really good. Righty ho, so that is donezo. Now we're gonna go and do this fella. However, I might do that tomorrow because it's like 9 something and I gotta have something to do tomorrow. Says the pile of other guns over there. Alrighty, tomorrow job. I did forget one thing. What I like to do once I've got the motor height nice is I like to take this out and I just count how many half turns I do, you know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just over 9. Try not to, oh no, it won't matter if you muck that up. No, don't worry about that. Very good. Right, so we'll put this back on. We'll find where it bites. There we go. We'll go 1 in for now. 1. Loctite the crap out of it because I don't want this thing moving. It should never need to be touched again unless you need to like reshim it or whatever, you know. But again, I could put, whoa, I didn't know that did that. Did you see that bloody squirt off, mate? That was a fucking cool one. I'll have to leave that open a bit longer next time. You could put this blue Loctite and you could smother the threads on this. Absolutely smother it. And you will be able to undo it, provided you use a good screwdriver to undo it, you know? And you have it in there nicely. So where was I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, I'm going to clean off that excess. Clean off that excess. And what we're going to do is we're just going to double check the sound because it might need tweaking. Sorry if it's a bit noisy. I like to go tight. To then go loose and then tweak it a couple times. And we're pretty good right about there. There we go. We'll put that lid back on there. Right. Once we're nice and clean on there, then the magic sauce. This is for our field basically. However, it's a really good idea to do on any gun. I am putting a mark on one side of the screw. I actually kind of make it look... actually, I'm going to have to start that again. I was trying to do it so you guys could see it a bit better. I like to mark it so that it looks kind of like an arrow. So you know which side is what. And then we want to put a line on the base plate. I'll probably put another coat on that again at some point just because it's a bit thin right now. However, that's you know, that's a quick reference to see if anything is going awry with it. It's a paint pen. If you haven't heard of them, you've been living under a rock. They're fucking cool, those things. So now, when you're doing that, don't completely block it if you've got a great air seal because you'll break stuff. Yeah, I've almost done that. And figured that out. Yeah, that's good. So, again, this time for real, tomorrow. Fucking sick.